Okay. So what I wanted to do is I realized I kind of jumped ahead of things, and I thought it would make sense to just take a look at a document at the beginning to um, to talk about what I'm talking about, basically. So this is this is the book I sent you in a raw thing, and just a little anecdote about this document. The other day I was looking through it, and I realized I had said wasn't when I meant to say was. And even if and the importance of that is even if someone else does your formatting for you, at the end of the day, if you have your Word document, it's pretty easy for you to go in and fix things like that. And so I went in and I changed the wasn't to was. And then I simply uploaded it to KDP, and within 2 hours, the corrected version was up. So even if you don't format your own document, knowing these little things can help you with things like typos and whatnot going forward. So this is the document I sent around, and I sent it in the raw version last week. But what I wanted to do is just show you some examples of the work in progress of what styles are. So I want to get this down so you can see it. Okay. Um, okay, this is the first page of the novel. Actually, there was a prologue. There's a prologue, and this is the first page. And this in this little area here, you have the three most important styles. Okay. The one that got it started on a Thursday night. I hit the right button and I go to styles. You'll see TXY. I had to use a variant for whatever reason. Okay. That's the text style, and that is almost the entire document. Almost all of the text of the manuscript are in that style. This is a different style. This is first para style. And the only difference between the texty style and the first paragraph style is this one has no first line indent. Okay. And this one, which is the texty style, has a first line 0.2 indent. Okay. Now, the first paragraph style does not have a drop tab, so I put that in manually later on. And as I explained, I put all of these things up here, make them easy. The third style in this little view is right here, and that style is heading one. Okay, and that for that heading, I could put um, um, I could put words in it. In many of my books, I put words in. Sometimes I say the word chapter, but for most of my books, I've just put the number in. So those are the three styles that are important. And the reason this one is important is when I generate the table of content. Now, by the way, this first page is actually a picture, not text. This is a picture I made in Canva because I couldn't find this font, which is the cover font I use. But just move down. Table of contents. All this table of contents does is it goes through and it searches for the headers and it puts them in. If there's a secondary subparagraph, it'll put it a little bit different. I'll be able to customize it. But all you need to do for a table of contents is put the heading um, style. And I noticed something right there which I don't like. Let me just move down. Okay. So I just wanted to explain what that's about. Prologue. Now I'm just doing something right now because I realized there's a mistake here. You can see there's no page number on. Sorry. There's no page number here, so you wouldn't know. But in fact, that has what I want when this shows up in the table of contents. I want this to be, and this is a little bit down the road, but I want this to be different. And if you looked at it before, it said that was page 5. Okay. I don't want it to be page 5. So just do this one thing and then we'll move to the other. Don't worry. This is all kind of background stuff. Now you see that's that's a number one, which is fine. Okay. So I mentioned there were the three styles on that one page. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky because what is a style? So let me move down a bit. That whole first chapter doesn't have much going on other than the two things. Here we have something different. We have a text message, and there may be a formal way of doing an approved way of doing text messages. This is how I do it. I do it italicized with the author, with the person whose text it is, and then I have a hanging point too. Okay. And all that, what the way I generated it is simply to go to what, let me just change the style to text. Okay. Okay. That's how it normally would look. Text, that's how the text is. So all I did is I went through it. I made it to look exactly as I want it to look, which is instead of first line indent, hanging point two, and a lot of this is personal preference, and 6 before, 6 after, boom, okay. And it didn't work. Oh, I know why it didn't work was because that was my mistake. Is because I'm just going okay. And that's what's happened. Okay. To explain that, the reason it didn't put any spaces before and after it was because I set it up so that, and I'll explain why later. But 6 point before, 6 point after, but don't add any space between paragraphs of the same style. And because it thought this was the same style, it did not put the spaces in. Okay. Oh, let me just go here. Texting. Okay. Now that, okay, so I'm just giving you examples of. There's another one. Text. Each of these paragraphs is simply a text style. So I'm just going to show you the difference. So let's text. All you need to do now, I've defined my texting style. And so boom, it changes that. Okay. And let me show you one more and then we'll try to pick up where we were last time. Okay. This particular book has a lot of internal stories that were written by the main character's mother. Okay. So it has a lot of these, but let me go to, I often write letters in stories. So I'm looking for one. A lot of this is not letters, they're text, essays and things like that. We'll say it's short fiction. There are a couple of letters here, and I wanted to show you that. And that's the last thing I'll show you in terms of the background. Check some of these. Here's a letter. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to. This, remember I mentioned there were up here on the first under 19, that's heading 1, that's first paragraph, that's text. All of this is text. Now here in a letter, we have 3 different styles. We have the dear style, we have the body of the letter style, and we have the signature style. And all this is I defined the style. When I say defined it, what I did is I simply took the text and I made it look like I want it to look, and then I gave it the name. The deer is the name I gave this one. Quote 1. Okay, that's fine. This is then style quote body, and this then is style quote end. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. And I know this is. I didn't mean to have this sound as confusing as I think it is, but I just wanted to show you what. I'm sorry. I'm doing undo here. I just wanted to show you what the practical aspects of styles. Bear with me. I'm sorry, I screwed this up. Okay. So let me. Okay, do you have, at this point, I'm sure you have some questions if you want to shoot them to me. I didn't mean to be as confusing as I think I ended up being. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Uh, okay, my question is, I have a document and I didn't use headings. I just typed them in the way I wanted them and centered
Yep.
them. Can I go back and change that?
Yes. Okay. You can. Um, all you need to do is go if you have a name for the chapter.
I have names for all the chapters, yes,
Okay. Okay.
but it's
So
not right next to the chapter number. I have the chapter number, then I have a quote, and then I have the name of the chapter. So I think I've messed up the idea of automatic table of
well,
contents.
first of all, did you type in the number?
Uh-huh.
You did type in the chapter number.
I spelled it out
It's going to
like
do that.
chapter 1 ONE.
Okay, hold on. Do that. Good morning. Okay, let's go that fine. You type this out. Okay. Now, the first thing you want to do is whatever you have for your chapter title, just try that. Just go in. Let me just give you an example. Stop that share. Let me hold on. Let me give you a blank document. I'll just show you how to do this. It's a little complicated, a little tricky, but let's just see what we can do. Because this applies to everyone. One of the big things about coding is you have it automatically numbers your chapters if you want it to. So here's a blank document. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Let me see. And let me just say, good morning is the chapter. Chapter one. Good morning. Okay. That's my chapter title. This is a brand new document. It has no codes or styles in it. So what you would, but it has heading one is an embedded style. Okay. So how would you do this? You'll see what happens. Reference. Cool. You'll see that what I just typed, that's a heading one. So that's where they put that. Okay. And then if I said afternoon, and we'll turn it back to this in a second. Afternoon, and let me call that heading two. Okay, let's see what happens when I do regenerate my table of contents. See what that looks like. There you go. You see that level one is at the margin and level two is a little bit into it. That's the page number. Okay. So you say, oh, I don't like the look of that. And here's all you do. Let's say you want to make that Times New Roman 12. And this is a good example of how you do this. Changing any font, any style. Just you make it what you want it to look like. Make it black. You want it centered. Centered. And you want, because it's a heading, it will automatically have these things, this with it. Keep with next, okay? Widow offering is just so there's not a single line on the end of the beginning of a page of a paragraph. Keep with next is self-explanatory. Keep lines together is self-explanatory. So headings automatically come with it. You don't have to worry about that. But you want it, let's say you decide how you want it, single space, let's say 12 ahead, and 12 points is a double return. You still want a single return, centered, okay. Boom, and then you go, this is exactly how you do styles. You go style, boom. It shows what style you're using. You hit the right button, update it, boom. Okay. And then if I were to do this, if I were to go Good evening. Sorry for that. Then you would see when I went to styles, and this is the essence of style. I go to styles and I go, I want this heading 1, boom, centered it. Oh, let me underline. I'd rather have it underlined. Okay, underscore it. Then I hit the right button, styles, modify styles. Whatever I've put in there will be picked up. Update heading. Look, it's been underscored. And then if I want to generate my table of content, which is Control A F9, update entire table, boom, it's added that page. Okay, as simple as that. But you say, what about the numbers? This is where it gets a bit tricky. Okay, forget I did that last time. And this is probably more than we can get into. Chapter 1, chapter 2. And the reason for that is that this is going to look very complicated because it is very complicated. Okay, I can do whatever I want with these headings, and they match up to heading 1. So I can change here. So I could make this 1. Okay.
Mhm.
See that's chapter 2. This is not a heading style. So let me do this. Get rid of that. Let's call it something else temporarily. So this is chapter 1. Chapter 2, and if you add chapters, it will all these numbers. They can be Roman numbers, they can be Arabic numbers, they can be spelled out numbers, but it automatically does that. That's a little bit for later on and how that is done, but that's basically what we're talking about in terms of using chapter numbers for the thing. Now, I'm guessing from what you're saying, you have more than one line in your titles, or you ran out of space. You said
Yeah,
you
the
said you had
titles
chapter
are a
1,
little long.
quotation, and then something else.
Yeah, there's a quotation between chapter 1 and the title of chapter 1.
Okay. That's that. Okay. I so it's basically you have chapter 1. Oh, let's see. It's kind of messed up. You'd have to have another style. That would be a lot trickier to do.
Yeah,
I've done it. You can be done, but it's a fairly complicated process
yeah.
of doing that. And the way you would do it basically is you'd have chapter 1, and then you'd have the next line. Get rid of that. You'd have the next line of your title beneath it, but you'd call it, you'd give it a, you basically, the way I would do it is I would do that. I would make it a different style because you have a coded number on the first one, and at the end of the day, it's probably more than it's probably more complicated than it's worth. But this is how I would basically do it. I would, if I've this every chapter, I would have a different style for the second for heading 2. Okay.
Oh, could I ask a question?
Yeah,
Do you so do you always use the same styles in all of your documents, or and maybe that's a question for another episode?
No, what I do,
but
no, that's what I do is I take if I start a new novel or new whatever, what I do is I take an existing one, I rename it, and then I delete everything.
You rename the style, or you rename the document?
No, I know that all I do is I give it a new name for the document. I delete all of the text. But that means I still have the document itself has all of the styles I already created.
Okay.
So that's how I cheat when I do it.
Okay.
So I don't have to reinvent the wheel. But I sometimes you run into things and you have to make a change.
Because I do newsletters and then I do writing, and so I want different projects. And now somebody's knocking at my door. Different projects with different tasks. But anyway, I'll keep listening.
Yeah, no, and look, I have a completely different for my professional work, my legal briefs and legal complaints and documents and whatnot. I have a completely different style set, but I don't. So if I'm writing a brief, I use a brief from another matter, clean it out, give it a new name before cleaning it out, because I know you have to go into you give it a new name before you do anything else, because it automatically saves, and then if you start changing it before you give it a new name, your changes will go in the old one. So, okay, that's a bit of a complicated way of explaining. So let me go to. Okay. This is the raw document, right? Yeah. So. So what questions do you have on styles? Okay. It's the point of style. Well, okay, yeah, this is the raw document. The point of styles is to customize whatever paragraphs you have. And as I said with this document, this is the raw document of what I just showed you. So it's a bit different, okay? And all I done is this had no codes and whatnot, and all I did is I started putting in these chapters, okay? So this is heading 1. This is para 1, or first para, and this is text. All of this is text, which happens to be called TEXY or something. So I have this. It's a first paragraph. Boom. That's all I need to do. I go through and I just eyeball it and make these changes. Oh, here we have this. This is the text we had, text message we had before. Let me see. Okay. This is before I put the style in. So just this is how one does a new style. Okay. Decide how you want it. And so I'm going to redo what I did before. Okay. Times New Roman. I want this to be hanging 0.2. I want 6.6 before, 6 point before, 6 point after, unless it's the same style. And I want it italicized. So I go here, justified, hanging, 2, 2, 6, fine. Okay. And then italicized. And then style, create a style, and I'm going to call it texting. Boom. Now that's my style for texting. So all I need to do now is whenever I see what is a text message, I should say, I simply go style texting. Boom. So as I'm doing the document, I'm just saying, oh, this is a text. This is the beauty of the style. Texting. Boom. Oh, this is a multi-line text. Okay. So then I go style. I put it all together. Now you see why I put that check mark on do not put a space in. And this is a preference. Do not put a space in for the items of the same style. So because the line after Alex just getting started is in the same style, texting, did not put a 6 point after it, but because the prior paragraph is text, it did put that. And then the last line, because the next paragraph Kate called is also is text, and this is texting, there are different styles. That's where it put in the 6 point gap. Okay, so that's how that works. Oh. I'm going to run out of time here. I'm sorry. Unless you guys want to redo it, and I just send out a new Zoom thing if people want, and continue this. Well, I have 9 minutes. Okay, let's see what happens. So I wanted to do one. You see, I'm running past these page numbers. We'll get back to them. I'm looking for. Sorry. Okay. Here's a letter. I want to make the dear is going to be the first line. So what I want to do is I want to style. I want to do the exact same thing I did before. For this, I want it to be indented 0.2. Again, stop. This is a preference. Right and left 0.2. I want this as the dear. I don't want any indentation. I want it 6 before, 6 after, and there. Okay. Okay. And I want it to be italicized. So what I need to do now is style. And let's call this letter. I'm just going to call it letter 1. Okay, that's the first line of a letter. Notice now, because that's a text style and that's a text style, there's a gap, there's spaces. This is the body of the text of the letter. So what I want to do here is I want to do exactly what I did before, but the only change will be I want this to be 0.2 indent, but everything else I want to match the deer line. 6, 6, 6, justified. It happens this is a one paragraph letter. Italicized, I'm sorry. Italicized. Now I want to create another new style. I'm going to call this letter 2. Boom. Again, you see the space here. If I were to have another if I were to just do this, you know, okay, boom, that's the end of my letter. Here's my signature line. So that's, again, there's no space there because they're the same style. So now this is going to be my sign off on the letter. Exact same thing. In this case, I want the right indent 0.2, but I'm going to push it over, and I can adjust this if it's too far. Let's call it 3, just call it 3 for now. First line is not indented. Single, 0.6, 0.6, boom, boom. And I want it italicized. And then style, create a style, letter 3. Boom. See, and now, because these are the same styles, there's no space there, but these are different styles, there's a space there. Okay. So that's just doing one thing here. This document does not have a lot of letters, back and forth. So, okay, let's cancel it. So later on, I have a letter. Oh, so all I need to do is first line style is letter 1. This is, and I just had to put it anywhere in the paragraph. I don't have to highlight the paragraph. Style, letter 2. This is the beauty of style. Style, letter 3. Boom. Now I have my letter set up. Okay. Now in this document, there were a lot of search for Jane Eyre. There's a reason for that. Give me a second, because I want to. Okay, this is a story. Okay. Now I have a whole bunch here. Okay, I'm going to. Okay, I said it and said about reading it. Stop. Okay, that's the text. Okay, there's a little problem there. That'll be, but this whole thing is a story. So let me just go this far in it. And a story happens to be the same as that. Okay, this is okay. And again, I'm doing this to show you. Okay, this is actually the end of the story. So, boom, letter 2. Okay, so now here's how it's set up. This is my story. Comes to the end. It ended. And then this is how it ended. Okay. I have it all. This is the end of it. Okay, that's how the story ends. So that's, you can see in this chapter, I have applied a style, and the style I just created, and I applied it to all of this. Okay. Questions? That's the essence of the style, by the way. You're just customizing it for what you want it to look like. No questions. Okay. Let me quickly do something which we'll do, and I don't think I can do it next week, but after that, I wanted to do the separate thing that is crucial, and I'll be as quick as I can to just more, this is more showing you than anything. We'll talk about it later. You notice here it says section break next page, okay? Get rid of this. Let me show you what that is. Section break next page is your best friend in this whole thing. Break next page, okay? Here's why. Okay. Going to you, this is we're talking about numbering your pages. And I can show you this. You can see it's the book. No page numbers on the one page number on the other header. So I'm going to call it okay. Before I do that, again, the clock's running out on me. So let me just show you. Paragraph. Sorry, wrong number. Layout. Page setup. Okay, this is page setup. Come on. So great. Great. Okay, page layout. This is the thing. We won't do much with this. Make this the whole document. There are 3 pages in any document. There's a left page, a right page, and the first page, okay, of the section. This is where section is so important. Section. Okay. I want a different odd and even. Okay. Okay. Now you say, what's the difference? Well, basically odd and even, particularly if you have a manuscript, you on even number pages, you want the number on the right margin, and odd number pages, you want the number on the right. I'm sorry, the even number pages, left margin, odd number pages, right number, and also the margins are different. And this is 0.9 on the inside, 0.7 on the outside, okay, for the whole document. Okay. And let me explain how this will work. Let me just put the word here. APJ. I'm running out of time in the last minute or so. Just let me we'll go through this later, but I just want to give you a sense here and then just quote center it. That's not right. Here we have it. You notice on this page, which is an title tab over. We will change those tabs. Don't worry. Current position. This is to get to show you what it looks like. Okay. Okay. We'll change the tabs there, but you notice here, this is an even number page. This is not okay. This is an odd number page. It's on the right. It has a bigger inside margin, and then this doesn't look quite right to me. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm about to be cut off. I'm sorry. So we'll resume probably in 2 weeks. Any quick questions?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Did you say 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Okay.
Think of questions that you can drop me a line. Okay, I'm going to get off here.
Okay.